All right, so let's jump right in. We're talking SEO today.
We are.
And specifically,
Algorithm-resistant SEO.
yeah, like how to make sure your SEO can withstand anything.
Right.
Because, we all know that Google's always changing.
Yeah. They're constantly updating their algorithms. Over 5,000 times a year?
5,000 times a year. It's a lot to keep up with.
It is.
So that's why we're doing this deep dive.
Right.
And especially because if you don't keep up, you can lose 40 to 60% of your organic traffic.
Which is a lot.
It's a huge amount.
Yeah, potentially millions of dollars in lost revenue.
Ouch. Yeah, nobody wants that.
No.
So let's decode this a little bit.
Okay.
Like, why is Google constantly changing things? What's their goal with all of this?
Well, their mission is to connect searchers with the most relevant, high-quality content.
They want to make sure that when people are searching, they're finding exactly what they want.
Exactly.
And that it's good quality.
Right. And so every update, big or small,
Mhm.
is meant to kind of refine that process.
It's like they're constantly reorganizing a library, but
It's a really big library.
it's the huge, constantly growing library.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got to stay on top of it.
They do. And I think one of the best ways to illustrate that is to look at some of the major updates.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So let's rewind all the way back to 2019. Remember the BERT update?
Oh, yeah.
It impacted something like 10% of all searches. It was all about natural language processing. So basically, Google got a lot better at understanding the nuances of how we actually talk and write.
So it's not just looking at the keywords anymore. It's like understanding the intent behind the keywords.
Right, exactly.
Like if I'm searching for best pizza near me,
Yeah.
it actually understands what near me means in real time
Yeah, based on your location.
based on my location. It's getting smart.
It is. It's getting very smart.
And then fast forward a little bit to 2021, the Core Web Vitals update. This one was all about user experience.
Yeah, that was a big one. Websites with slow loading times, confusing designs, those annoying pop-up ads, they saw a 15% drop in their rankings.
That was Google basically saying, hey, make your websites user-friendly.
Yep.
Or else,
Like
nobody wants to wait 10 minutes for a page to load.
Exactly. And user experience is important. People want to have a good time on your website.
Yeah. And then there was 2022, the helpful content update. This is where they really started cracking down on AI-generated content.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure that the content was actually helpful, valuable to users, not just written to game the system.
Yeah, there was actually this health blog that was using AI-generated posts,
Oh.
and they saw a 72% drop in traffic. A huge drop.
That was a big drop.
Talk about a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Google saying, we can tell when you're trying to trick us.
They can.
So yeah, I guess the big takeaway here is,
Don't try to trick Google.
yeah, don't try to trick you.
Focus on quality, valuable content.
Yeah, and I guess the other big takeaway is that it's not enough to just create content.
Right.
We need to make sure that our websites are technically sound, user-friendly.
It's all connected.
It all works together. So how do we navigate this ever-changing landscape?
Good question.
How do we make sure our SEO can withstand all these updates?
Well, instead of trying to chase algorithms, I think we need to build a foundation that is algorithm resistant. It's like building a digital fortress
I like that. A digital fortress.
that can withstand any Google storm.
Yeah, Google Storm. That's a good one.
So what are the cornerstones of this SEO fortress? What do we need to focus on?
Okay, let's break it down.
Well, there are 4 key pillars:
4 key pillars.
content quality, technical SEO, user experience, and backlink profile.
Content, technical user experience, backlinks.
Each one is essential for long-term SEO success.
Okay.
Think of them as the legs of a table. You remove one and the whole thing collapses.
And you need all 4.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start with content, because I feel like this is where it all begins, right?
It does.
Content is king, or so they say.
Content is king, but quality is queen.
Quality is queen.
Yeah, we all know content is important, but what makes for truly royal content in the eyes of Google? It all starts with demonstrating EEAT.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Like a gourmet meal for Google.
It is.
Okay, but how do we actually show off our EET? Like, how do we prove to Google that we're the real deal?
Well, start with your author bios, make them detailed, showcase your credentials, your experience, include citations from reputable sources to back up your claims.
So it's not just what you're saying, it's who's saying it.
Exactly. You need to build trust, not just with Google, but with your audience as well.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to go in depth. I feel like we've all heard that long-form content performs better.
It does. Those articles with 2,000 words or more, they tend to get more backlinks, more social shares. It shows you're an expert.
Yeah, you're not just skimming the surface, you're diving deep.
Exactly.
Okay, so EEAT, long-form content, what else?
Well, always aim to provide genuine value. That means understanding what users are actually searching for, their intent. So keyword research is still important, but it's not just about stuffing keywords into your content.
Right.
It's about understanding the why behind the search.
Exactly, and that brings us back to that health blog we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, the one that got penalized.
The one that got penalized. They were using AI-generated content that wasn't actually helpful. Google can spot that.
They're getting smarter all the time.
They are, so make sure your content is actually valuable.
Okay, content quality check. What's next?
Technical SEO.
Okay, let's get technical.
It's all about laying the groundwork for your website.
Like the foundation of our SEO fortress.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in today's world, that means optimizing for mobile devices.
Mobile.
Mobile first. More than half of all website traffic comes from mobile devices.
So if your website isn't mobile friendly, you're basically turning away half of your potential customers.
You are.
Yikes.
And while we're talking about user experience, let's not forget about page speed.
Page speed,
Yeah.
so important.
It is. Users are impatient.
Yeah, if a page takes too long to load, I'm out of there.
Exactly. Even a 1-second delay can lead to a 7% drop in conversions.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is.
So every millisecond counts.
It does.
But how do we make our websites faster? Like, what are some practical things we can do?
Well, you can start by compressing your images, optimizing your code, using a content delivery network.
Okay, I'm getting a little lost in the technical jargon here.
I know, it can be a bit much.
Yeah, is there a simpler way to do this?
There is. Luckily, Google provides a free tool called PageSpeed Insights.
PageSpeed Insights.
You just enter your website URL and it analyzes your website and gives you personalized recommendations for improvement.
Wow, so it's like having a free SEO consultant.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It is.
And while we're on the topic of free Google tools,
Right?
there's also the mobile-friendly test, right?
Yes, that's a great one too. It lets you see how your website looks on different mobile devices.
So you can make sure it's actually user-friendly. Okay, so we've got mobile friendliness, page speed, any other technical tips?
Yeah. I think it's also important to use structured data and schema markup.
Schema markup. Now that's a word I haven't heard in a while.
It's a bit technical, but basically it's a way to provide context to search engines about what your content is actually about.
So it's like giving them a little cheat sheet.
It is. It helps them understand your content better, which can improve your rankings.
Makes sense.
Oh.
Okay, so we've covered content quality and technical SEO.
Yeah,
Those are two big ones.
they are.
What's next?
User experience.
User experience. I feel like we've touched on that a little bit already with mobile friendliness and page speed.
We have, but it's so important that it deserves its own section.
Okay, fair enough.
It's not just about making Google happy. It's about creating a website that people actually enjoy using.
Right, we want people to actually want to spend time on our websites.
Exactly. And that's where Core Web Vitals come in.
Okay, I've heard of Core Web Vitals, but can you remind me what they are?
Sure. So we have largest contentful paint, which measures how quickly the main content of your page loads.
So how long it takes for the good stuff to show up?
Exactly.
Okay.
Then we have first input delay, which tracks how responsive your page is to user interactions.
So like if I click a button, how long does it take for something to happen?
Exactly. And if it takes too long, people get frustrated.
Nobody wants to wait.
No.
Okay, so largest contentful paint, first input delay, what's the third one?
Cumulative layout shift.
Cumulative layout shift.
Yeah, it measures visual stability.
Visual stability.
Yeah. Have you ever been reading an article and then suddenly the text jumps around because an image loaded late?
Oh yeah, that's so annoying.
It is, and Google doesn't like it either.
They penalize you for that.
They do.
Okay, so Core Web Vitals, they're all about making sure that our websites are fast,
Right.
responsive,
Yes.
and provide a stable visual experience.
Exactly.
But what's the payoff? Like, why should we care about these things?
Well, websites that meet Google's thresholds for these metrics retain 24% more users.
24% more users.
Yeah, think about that. That's a lot of potential customers you could be losing if your website isn't up to par.
That's a lot of pizza we're not selling.
Exactly.
Okay, so Core Web Vitals, they're important.
They are.
And then another thing we touched on earlier was bounce rate.
Right, bounce rate is the percentage of people who visit your website and immediately leave without interacting with anything.
It's like they came, they saw, and they bounced.
Exactly.
And that's not a good thing.
It's not. A high bounce rate tells Google that people aren't finding what they're looking for on your website.
Like they walked into the pizza place, didn't see anything they liked, and walked right back out.
Exactly.
Okay, so lower bounce rate, the better.
The better.
Any tips for keeping people on our websites?
Well, it goes back to creating high-quality content that matches user intent. But it's also about those little things that enhance the user experience. Make sure your website is easy to navigate, visually appealing, accessible to all.
Accessibility, that's a good point.
Yeah, we need to make sure our websites are inclusive for everyone, regardless of their abilities.
So things like alt text for images,
Yes.
keyboard navigation.
Right, all of that's important.
Okay, so content, technical SEO, user experience.
We've got one more.
We've got one more pillar,
Backlinks.
backlinks. Now, this is one that I know a lot of people get nervous about.
I know, they can be a bit tricky.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories about toxic backlinks.
Yes, there are definitely some bad ones out there.
So can you break it down for us? Like, what are backlinks? Why are they important? And how do we make sure we're getting the right ones?
Okay, so backlinks are basically links from other websites to your website.
Like other websites are vouching for you.
Exactly. It's like they're giving you a thumbs up and saying, hey, this website is good.
And Google sees that as a good sign.
They do. It's a signal of authority and trust.
So the more backlinks you have.
The better, but it's not just about quantity, it's about quality.
Right, because I remember back in the day, it was all about getting as many backlinks as possible, no matter where they came from.
That's right, and it didn't really matter if they were relevant or not.
But that's not the case anymore.
No, Google has gotten a lot smarter.
They're cracking down on those shady tactics.
They are, so now it's all about earning backlinks from reputable websites in your industry.
So if I have a pizza website, I want backlinks from other food websites.
Exactly, or from restaurant review sites, local directories, things like that.
So how do we get those high quality backlinks?
The best way is to create amazing content that people naturally want to link to.
Okay, so back to content quality.
Exactly. Content is at the heart of everything.
Content is king.
Content is king.
But you can also reach out to other websites in your niche and offer guest posts, collaborate on projects.
Yes, build relationships with other website owners.
Networking is important.
It is. And if you have content that you think would be valuable to another website's audience, you can even just ask for a link.
So don't be afraid to reach out.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
But what if we've already made some backlink mistakes?
Like what?
Like maybe we bought a bunch of backlinks from spammy websites a few years ago.
Oh, no.
I know, it was a different time.
It was.
We didn't know any better.
Well, luckily, there's a way to fix that. Google provides a tool called the Disavow tool.
The disavow tool.
Yeah, it lets you tell Google to ignore specific links that you think might be harming your website.
So we can basically go back and clean up our backlink profile.
Exactly. It's like spring cleaning for your backlinks.
I like that. Spring cleaning for your backlinks.
Get rid of the toxic ones. Focus on building a network of trustworthy backlinks.
It's all about quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our 4 pillars of SEO.
We do?
Content quality, technical SEO, user experience, backlinks.
Those are the foundations of a strong SEO fortress.
A fortress that can withstand any Google update.
Exactly.
But I have to ask, like, what about the future?
What do you mean?
Like, SEO is constantly evolving.
It-
What are some key trends that we should be watching out for? What's coming next?
That's a great question. I think one of the biggest trends we're seeing is the rise of voice search and AI.
Voice search, like talking to our devices.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey Siri, find me the best pizza near me.
Exactly. By 2025, it's estimated that 75% of households will have smart speakers.
That's a lot of people talking to their devices.
It is, so we need to start optimizing our websites for voice search.
But how do we do that? Like, do we need to start talking to our websites?
Well, not quite.
Okay.
The key is to focus on conversational keywords and long-tail phrases that people actually use when they speak.
So instead of targeting best pizza,
Yeah.
we might target, where can I find the best pizza near me?
Exactly. You need to think about how people actually talk.
Yeah, because people don't talk like robots.
No, they don't.
Okay, so voice search, that's a big one.
It is.
What about AI?
AI is also playing a big role in SEO, both in terms of how Google is using AI to understand and rank websites.
Right, they're getting smarter all the time.
They are, but also in terms of how we can use AI to create and optimize content.
Oh, like AI-generated content?
Yeah, but there's a big caveat here. Google has made it clear that they're okay with AI-generated content as long as it's helpful and high quality.
So no more just churning out a bunch of low-effort content.
Exactly. You need to make sure that the content is still valuable to users.
Okay, so AI can be a helpful tool,
It can.
but it's not a replacement for human creativity and expertise.
Right.
Okay, what else?
Another big trend is the growing importance of video and visual search.
Video and visual search.
Yeah, think about it. When you're scrolling through Google's search results, what catches your eye first?
Probably the images and videos.
Exactly, they're more engaging.
They are.
And videos in the top 10 Google search results get way more clicks than text-only results.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is, so we need to start incorporating more videos into our content.
And not just videos, but images too, right?
Yes, image optimization is also important. Make sure you're using descriptive file names, adding alt text, optimizing image sizes for faster loading times.
Okay, so visual content is becoming more and more important.
It is.
And then the last trend I want to touch on is local SEO and personalization,
Local SEO, yeah, that's huge.
especially for businesses that have a physical location.
Exactly. With the rise of mobile search and near-me queries, local SEO has become more important than ever.
If I'm looking for pizza on my phone,
Right.
I want to find a place that's close by.
Right. And one of the best ways to make sure people can find your business is to create a complete and optimized Google business profile.
Google business profile, that's like your online storefront.
Exactly. Make sure you have your business name, address, phone number, website URL, hours of operation, and lots of high quality photos.
Yeah, all the important details.
All the important detail.
And Google's getting better at personalizing search results too, right?
They are, so two people searching for the same thing might see different results based on their location, search history, and other factors.
It's like Google is reading our minds.
It's a little bit creepy.
It is a little bit creepy.
But it also makes it even more important to focus on creating content that targets specific user intents and needs.
So we need to be thinking about our audience and what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about the fundamentals of Google's algorithms,
Right.
the 4 pillars of SEO,
Yes.
and some key trends shaping the future of search.
A lot of information.
A lot of information. It can be a bit overwhelming.
I know.
So are there any tools or resources that can help us kind of make sense of all of this?
Absolutely. There are tons of amazing SEO tools out there.
Okay, give us the good stuff.
All right. Well, one of my all-time favorites is Google Search Console.
Google's Search Console.
It's a free tool from Google that gives you a ton of valuable insights into how your website is performing in search results.
It's like having a direct line to Google.
It is. You can see which keywords people are using to find your website, track your click-through rates, identify any crawl errors or indexing issues, monitor your core Web Vitals performance, so much more.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. It's a really powerful tool.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Another essential tool is SEMrush.
SEMrush.
Yeah, this is a paid tool,
Okay.
but it offers a comprehensive suite of SEO features, including keyword research, competitor analysis, backlink auditing, and more.
So it's like an all-in-one SEO platform.
It is. It's your SEO Swiss Army knife.
Okay, so Google Search Console for the basics,
Right.
SEMrush for the more in-depth stuff.
Exactly.
What about backlinks? Any tools for that?
Yes, ROPS is fantastic for backlink analysis and competitor research.
Relax.
Yeah, it's similar to SEMrush, but with a slightly different focus.
Okay, so those are 3 big ones.
They are.
Any others that you want to mention?
Yeah, a couple more. Surfer SEO is great for content optimization. Yeah, it uses AI to analyze top ranking pages for your target keywords and gives you a content score and optimization recommendations.
So it's like having an AI writing assistant.
It's like having an AI writing assistant.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Okay, and then the last one,
The last one is Screaming Frog.
Screaming Frog.
It's a website crawler that can help you identify technical SEO issues like broken links, missing meta descriptions, and other things that might be harming your website.
So it's like a website checkup.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a whole arsenal of SEO tools at our disposal.
You do.
But I'm curious, have you seen any real-world examples of brands that have successfully navigated algorithm updates and come out stronger on the other side?
Absolutely. There are tons of inspiring stories out there.
Okay, spill the tea.
Okay, so one example is a retail brand we'll call Brand X.
Brand X, okay.
After a major core update, they saw a 60% drop in their organic traffic.
Ouch.
It was a huge blow.
Yeah.
But instead of giving up, they decided to figure out what went wrong.
So what did they do?
They conducted a thorough SEO audit, and they found a bunch of technical errors on their website.
Like what?
Broken links, slow loading times, mobile friendliness issues.
Sounds familiar.
It does, right? And they also realized that their backlink profile was in pretty bad shape. A lot of spammy and low quality links.
So a double whammy.
A double whammy.
But they didn't give up.
They didn't. They rolled up their sleeves and they fixed everything.
And what happened?
It worked. Within 8 months, they recovered 90% of their lost rankings and traffic.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. It's a true SEO comeback story.
It shows that even when you get hit hard by an algorithm update, it's possible to bounce back.
It is.
Okay, so Brand X, that's one example.
Right.
Any others?
Yeah, another great example is a news site we'll call Site Y.
Site Y.
They were hit hard by the 2022 helpful content update.
Right, the one that targeted thin or low value content.
Exactly. After the update, they saw a significant drop in their rankings and traffic.
So what did they do?
Well, they did something pretty drastic. They went through their entire website and deleted hundreds of low-quality articles.
They just got rid of them.
They got rid of them. They decided to focus on quality over quantity.
And it worked.
It worked. Their rankings and traffic recovered, and they actually saw a significant increase in user engagement metrics.
So people were actually spending more time on their website.
They were.
Because the content was better.
Because the content was better.
So sometimes less is more.
Sometimes less is more.
Okay, so these case studies, they're really inspiring.
They are.
They show that it's possible to succeed in SEO, even with all the challenges.
Yes.
So what's the big takeaway here?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that we need to be proactive.
Proactive.
Yeah, we can't just sit back and wait for Google to make changes.
We need to be constantly learning, adapting, and improving our websites.
Exactly. SEO is an ongoing process.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
And it's a journey that we're all on together.
We are.
So let's support each other.
Yeah.
Share our knowledge.
Absolutely.
And make sure that our websites are the best they can be.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
To create websites that Google loves and users enjoy.
That's a great goal. I like it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Yeah, I think so too.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But I'm sure our listeners have a lot more questions.
Probably.
So stay tuned for part 2.
Yes. We'll be back soon with more SEO tips and insights.
And in the meantime, be sure to check out the links in the description below for some amazing resources and exclusive offers.
Those are good.
Yeah, they are.
We've got cheat sheets, templates, all kinds of good stuff to help you take your SEO to the next level.
So don't miss out.
Don't miss out.
Okay, it's time for us to sign off.
Okay.
But before we do, I want to thank you for joining us on this SEO adventure.
It's been fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
Until next time, happy optimizing.
Happy optimizing. That's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, it's really about people in the end. People. You mean like outside of the internet.
I know, right? But it's easy to forget sometimes when we're talking about algorithms and all these technical things.
It is.
But at the end of the day, it's all about creating a website and content that people actually want to use.
Yeah, we need to make sure it's helpful and engaging.
Exactly.
So how do we do that? Like, how do we make sure our websites are meeting the needs of real people?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that people are becoming increasingly sophisticated in their search habits.
What do you mean?
Well, they're using voice search more, visual search.
Right.
They're expecting a more personalized experience.
So it's not just about typing keywords into a search bar anymore.
Right, exactly.
So how do we adapt to that?
I think we need to think beyond traditional keywords and start focusing on topics and concepts.
Topics and concepts. Sounds a little abstract.
It might sound that way, but it's actually pretty simple.
Okay, I'm listening.
Instead of just targeting individual keywords, we need to think about the broader topics and themes that our target audience is interested in. So it's like taking a step back and looking at the big picture.
It is. It's about understanding their interests and creating content that addresses those interests in a comprehensive way.
So if I'm selling pizza, for example,
Yeah.
I wouldn't just want to target keywords like pizza or pepperoni.
Right.
I might want to think about broader topics like Italian cuisine, family dinner ideas, even late night snacks.
Exactly. Because those are all things that people who are interested in pizza might also be interested in.
Yeah, it's like creating a whole pizza universe, not just focusing on one slice.
I like that analogy.
But how do we make sure that all of this content is actually helpful and engaging? We don't want to just create a bunch of random articles on different topics.
That's where the EEAT principles come in again.
Right, EET.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
We need to show Google that we're the real deal.
We do. We need to demonstrate expertise, authority, and trustworthiness in everything we create.
So we need to make sure that our content is well-researched, informative, and written by someone who knows what they're talking about.
Exactly. No more amateur pizza chefs.
Right. We want the Michelin star chefs of the internet.
Exactly. And don't forget about the importance of storytelling.
Storytelling.
I know it might sound a little strange in the context of SEO,
It does.
but people are naturally drawn to stories.
It's true.
They help us connect with information on an emotional level and make it more memorable.
I guess that makes sense.
So even if you're writing about something technical or complex, try to weave in a narrative or anecdote to make it more engaging.
So like, don't just give me the facts about pizza dough.
Right.
Tell me a story about a passionate pizza maker who spent years perfecting their recipe.
Exactly. Bring it to life.
And don't be afraid to show some personality.
Right. People want to connect with real people, not faceless brands.
So ditch the corporate jargon.
Ditch the corporate jargon.
Let your authentic self shine through.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
So we're creating high-quality content that covers relevant topics, demonstrates EEAT, and incorporates storytelling.
We're checking all the boxes.
We are.
What's next?
Well, now we need to make sure that all of this content is easily accessible to both humans and search engines.
Accessible. You mean like wheelchair ramps for websites?
That's one way to think about it.
Okay.
We need to make sure our websites are easy to navigate, load quickly, and are optimized for all devices.
Right, because people are accessing the internet on their phones, their tablets, their laptops, their desktops.
It's about providing a seamless and enjoyable experience no matter how they're accessing your content.
So all of that technical SEO stuff we talked about earlier is still super important.
It is.
It's like making sure the pizza dough is perfectly kneaded and the oven is at the right temperature.
Exactly. We can have the most amazing content in the world, but if our website is slow, clunky, or difficult to use, people are going to bounce faster than a rubber ball.
And Google is going to notice that and penalize us in the rankings.
Ew.
So let's recap those key technical SEO elements.
Okay.
Mobile friendliness.
Yes.
Page speed.
Uh-huh.
Structured data.
Right.
Clear site architecture.
And a robust internal linking strategy.
Okay, we've got a lot to think about,
We do.
but I think we're covering all the bases.
I think so too.
Okay, so content, technical SEO, accessibility, we're doing good.
We are.
But what about backlinks? I'm still a little nervous about those.
I know, they can be a bit tricky.
Yeah, because we talked about how important it is to get high quality backlinks.
We did.
But how do we actually do that?
Well, it really comes down to creating amazing content that people naturally want to link to.
So it goes back to content again.
It always goes back to content.
Content is king.
Content is king, but you can also reach out to other websites in your niche.
Right, like networking.
Networking is important. You can offer to write guest posts, collaborate on projects, or even just ask for a link if you think your content would be valuable to their audience.
So don't be afraid to reach out.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
But what if we've made some backlink mistakes in the past? Like maybe we bought a bunch of links from spammy websites back in the day.
I know, it happens.
We didn't know any better.
Well, the good news is that Google provides a tool called the disavow tool.
The disavow tool.
You can use this tool to tell Google to ignore specific links that you think might be harming your website.
So we can basically go back and clean up our backlink profile.
Exactly.
Get rid of the bad links and focus on building relationships with high quality websites.
That's the goal.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot better about backlinks now.
Good.
So we've covered content, technical SEO, accessibility, and backlinks.
Yeah,
I think we're in pretty good shape.
I think so too.
But SEO is constantly evolving.
It is.
So what's next? What are some trends that we should be keeping an eye on?
Well, I think one of the biggest trends we're going to see is the continued rise of voice search.
Voice search, yeah.
More and more people are using voice assistants like Siri and Alexa to search the web.
It's just so convenient.
It is. So we need to make sure our websites are optimized for voice search.
But how do we do that?
Well, it's all about thinking about how people actually talk.
Right, not how they type.
Exactly. People use different keywords and phrases when they're speaking than when they're typing.
So we need to use more natural language.
More conversational language.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we also need to make sure our websites are mobile friendly.
Right, because people are using their phones to do voice searches.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
Another big trend is artificial intelligence, or AI.
AI. Everyone's talking about AI these days.
I know, it seems like it's everywhere.
It is.
And it's definitely having an impact on SEO.
How so?
Well, for one thing, Google is using AI to understand and rank websites.
So their algorithms are getting smarter all the time.
They are. But AI can also be a helpful tool for us as SEO professionals.
Oh, interesting.
There are a lot of AI-powered tools that can help us with things like keyword research, content creation, and even link building.
So AI can help us do our jobs better.
It can, but it's important to remember that AI is a tool, not a replacement for human expertise.
Right. We still need to use our brains.
We do. We need to understand how AI works, how to use it effectively, and how to interpret the data it provides.
Okay, so AI is a powerful tool,
It is.
but we need to use it wisely.
We do.
Okay, any other trends we should be aware of?
I think another big one is the growing importance of visual content.
Visual content, so images and videos.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes sense. People are visual creatures.
They are, and we're seeing more and more visual content in search results.
So if we want to stand out, we need to make sure our websites are visually appealing.
We do. We need to use high-quality images and videos.
And we need to optimize them for search.
Right. We need to make sure they're properly tagged and described so that Google can understand what they're about.
Okay, so visual content is important.
Very important.
And then the last trend I want to touch on is the increasing focus on local SEO.
Local SEO, yeah, that's huge, especially for businesses that have a physical location.
Right, because more and more people are using their phones to search for businesses near me.
Exactly. So if you want to make sure people can find your business, you need to make sure your website is optimized for local search.
And that means having a complete and accurate Google business profile.
Yes, that's essential. Make sure your business name, address, phone number, and website URL are all correct and up to date.
And don't forget about photos.
Photos are important. People want to see what your business looks like before they visit.
Okay, so local SEO is definitely something to pay attention to,
It is.
especially if you have a brick and mortar business.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have a lot of trends to keep in mind.
It can be a bit overwhelming, but I think the key is just focus on the fundamentals.
Right. The things we talked about earlier: content quality, technical SEO, user experience, and backlinks.
Those are the foundation of a strong SEO strategy.
They are. If you get those right, you'll be in good shape.
I like it. Back to base.
To basics, yeah. It really is a constantly evolving landscape.
I know. It's amazing to think about how much SEO has changed over the years. Like, remember back in the day when it was all about keyword stuffing and link farming?
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
It was like the Wild West of the internet.
It was. You could get away with a lot more back then.
You could, but
Mm.
thankfully, Google has gotten a lot smarter. They're
Yeah.
cracking down on those black hat tactics.
Yeah, they're constantly refining their algorithms to make sure that they're rewarding websites that are actually providing value to users.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's all about the user.
It is.
We need to make sure that our websites are user-friendly, that our content is helpful and engaging.
Exactly. We need to put the user at the center of everything we do.
User centricity.
User centricity.
It's the mantra of the modern internet,
It is, and it's more important than ever in the age of AI.
because AI is changing everything.
It is, but I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Right. It's not a replacement for human expertise.
Exactly. We still need to understand the fundamentals of SEO.
We do. So let's recap some of those fundamentals.
Okay.
What are the key ingredients for success in the ever-changing world of SEO?
Well, first and foremost, we need to make sure that our websites are technically sound.
Right. The technical SEO stuff we talked about earlier.
Exactly. We need to make sure our websites are mobile friendly, load quickly, have a clear site architecture, use structured data.
All of those things are important.
They are, and we also need to make sure that our websites are accessible to everyone.
Accessibility, yeah, that's important.
It is. We need to make sure that people with disabilities can easily use our websites.
Cool things like alt text for images, keyboard navigation.
Exactly.
Okay, so technical SEO, accessibility, what else?
Well, we also need to make sure that our content is high quality.
Content is king, right?
Content is king.
But it's not just about creating any old content.
No, it needs to be helpful, informative, and engaging.
It needs to provide value to users.
Exactly. And it needs to be well written and optimized for search engines.
So we need to do our keyword research. Make sure our content is well structured.
And that it's relevant to the topics and themes that our target audience is interested in.
Right, so we're not just creating content for the sake of creating content.
We're creating content that will actually help people.
Okay, so content quality, technical SEO, accessibility, what else?
Backlinks.
Backlinks, those can be tricky.
They can be, but they're still really important.
They are, because they're a signal of authority and trust.
Exactly. When other websites link to your website, it tells Google that your website is a valuable resource.
So how do we get those high-quality backlinks?
Well, the best way is to create amazing content that people naturally want to link to.
Content is king again.
Content is king again.
But we can also reach out to other websites in our niche and offer to write guest posts or collaborate on projects.
Yes, networking is important.
It is, and if you have content that you think would be valuable to another website's audience, you can even just ask for a link. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
Okay, so content quality, technical SEO, accessibility, backlinks.
Those are the 4 pillars of SEO.
And if we focus on those 4 pillars, we'll be in good shape.
We will.
But SEO is constantly evolving.
It is.
So we need to be adaptable.
We do. We need to be willing to learn new things, experiment, and adjust our strategies as needed.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And it's a journey that's always evolving.
It is. This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of algorithm-resistant SEO. We've covered a lot of ground today, but I hope our listeners feel empowered to take their SEO to the next level.
I agree. It's all about understanding the fundamentals and putting the user first.
Well said. And on that note, it's time for us to sign off. Thank you for joining us on this SEO adventure. Until next time, happy optimizing.
Happy optimizing.